this video, we're going to talk about creating change orders in Mothernode CRM, and we're also going to be talking about using change orders to add POs to closed and completed orders. So there's two different subjects, but they all go through the change order process. So let's talk about making a change order within Mothernode CRM. So the first thing you need to know is that change orders are only applicable to orders that are in progress. So when the order is in an open status, you can be changing whatever it is that you want. But when an order is in progress, it's either being bought out or currently being manufactured. And so there's a change order process that needs to be observed in order to capture those changes and notify everybody who needs to be notified within your group about what those changes are. So let's begin. It's a very simple process. Over here you can see that I have an order that is in progress. Okay, so over here you can see that it says the order's been processed. I have to recall the order to make changes, which I could do. I can bring back the order if it's not completely been accepted into production yet, which has been the case, but I can also use the change order option here. Okay, so it all depends on where you are in the process, but assuming that these have been accepted, then I would definitely have to use the change order. So I'm going to go ahead and use the change order button here just the same, just to show you how I make the changes. All right, so first of all, I'm going to click on change order, and now it opens up the line items for me to change. So I can make whatever changes I want to make at this point, and they're going to be tracked and captured. So for instance, what I'm going to do over here is I want to change a quantity, because that's something that would be common. I'll change the quantity, and then basically what I'd like to also do is change the dimensions that are listed here. So I have 12 by 12. Let's change these to 14 by 14, okay? And then I'm going to choose to make this non-taxable, and I'll also choose this to be made here as opposed to made out. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and change these items here, and we'll leave the other line item as it was. All right, when I'm done, I click save. And now the important part is that I'm forced to notify other people in my group about this change. Now the first two people in this list, these fictional users, are going to be mandatory. They can't be unchecked. These are the people that are going to be either the sales rep or the project manager on this order, so they will get notified of the change no matter what. If you have to choose other people in your group, you can go ahead and do that, and then you can specify what the change is as a note, just so it calls their attention. So I can say QTY adjustment. Okay, and then I'll say 12 by 12 was changed to 14 by 14. I know that we made some other changes here, but I'm just going to leave this as it is. And once I'm done, I'm going to click send. And then this change will now be recorded. Okay, so these additional parties will receive an email that comes through that basically says these changes have been made. Now, when I go back over here into my order entry screen, you can see the description has been changed and the quantity has been changed. And then we know that this was changed from non-taxable made here as opposed to taxable and made out. Okay, now I can always see my changes that I've made and track those changes when I go to actions. Then I go to view change log. And so the view change log is basically going to show who made the most recent change, the date and time it was made, the reason that the change was made, and then who was notified. These are the people that would have received the email. Off to the right, I have basically the list of the fields that are indicated here, the previous data that was there. So we had a quantity of 15. All right, that obviously impacts the extended price that we see here. Then I have the made out and taxable, and everything here is bolded that's been changed. So if you see it's been in plain text, it hasn't been impacted, but anything that's bolded has been changed. So if you look at the current data that's off to the side, you can see the changes that were made. 15 went to 20, that affected the price. Made out went to made here, taxable went to non-taxable, and the descriptions were altered. Okay, so every time a change is recorded within the system, it'll be available in the change log for you to review. All right, in this next example, what we're going to be doing is we want to attach a purchase order to an already completed order. Okay, so we have some straggler costs that are coming through that we want to make sure get added to that order, and it's already been invoiced and completed 100%. Now there's a couple things you're going to want to know here. Is that number one, there's two different ways that we can be doing this. You can do the traditional way of creating the PO off of the order, off of the line item itself, or perhaps you already have a purchase order that's in the system that you want to attach back to this. The processes are pretty much similar. In this case, we're going to be using the example of taking an existing PO that we've created and adding it over here to the actual order. So in this case, when I'm looking at this order, one thing I note is that it's completed, so I want to bring it back to in progress, and you'll see that I can't do this. So I can't take an order that's automatically been fully invoiced and bring it back into in progress. Why? Because the final invoice has been completed and Mothernode automatically knocks the order off your open orders list and calls it completed, and we're done. So in this case, we need to bring this back to in progress. So what do? So down below, we're going to click on change order. And then what we want to do is we want to note the change that we're going to be making. Okay, so over here is an example. I'm just going to go free form. And here I'll say, sample change. And then I'll say adding new PO. And in this case here, I'm going to flip over. I want to see what the PO number is. It's going to be PO 609. Okay, that's what we're going to work with. So I'm going to say we're going to add PO 609 to this. All right. And I want to put in whatever the cost is going to be. So I can see at the subtotal here before tax is what I want to use because it's going to be taxable. It'll be added to the order. I'm going to say 451. And then I'll put over here the cost is going to be 451. Now again, I could have built the line items in the change order, then made a PO off of this. That's not the direction I'm going to go. I'm just going to do the adding the additional, the existing purchase order. So here I'm going to click save. Now, just like I did before, I have to notify the following people and add the change. So I want to say the change I was making was I'm adding PO 609, okay, in this case. And I'm automatically notifying Cindy Johnson and David Waters. And I also want to add, let's see, Jack Jackson and Allison Honeycutt so they're aware of this change. Okay, so they're in my accounting department, so I want to make sure that they're aware of this. And I'm going to click save. And now everybody gets their emails. And we're in a position where we brought the order back to in progress over here. So now I can go over here to my purchase order, and you can see this one is already attached to an order. So in this instance, I don't want to use order 390. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say change order reference to what were we looking at here? It was 383. So I'm going to change this to 383. This is the order I want to attach it to. And now you can see that we've been attached to order 383. I'll click on this, and now I have that purchase order. So down here you can see the final PO has been added, PO number 609. And basically all I have to do at this point is receive that PO, because assuming it's been received, I'll receive it, or when the time comes for it to receive, I'll receive it. And then I'll go ahead and ship that remaining item so it does appear in my ready for invoice to be queued up to invoice. And then I can go ahead and invoice it, and that will create the final invoice and then ultimately close the order again automatically by marking it as complete. So if this is something that is just being offered at a discount or just 100% free to that person for whatever reason, for whatever the change has to be, then you can also discount that line item 100% as a pass-through, and then your invoice will be a $0 invoice in that case, okay? So for more videos on the order procedures and POs and other things that are related to what we're talking about here, check out the other YouTube channels that we have, or you can also visit us online at support.mothernode.com for some articles that review some of these same topics or topics just like it. Thanks very much for watching.